So okay, so folder structure okay clear
Yes, Madhu.
so in the cookie manager cache manager வந்து நம்ம thread group add பண்ணுவோம் so what okay, one second. So what we will do is like we'll add this cookie and cache manager to the thread group. I'll explain the reason for adding this cookie manager and cache manager. So here just right clicking on this thread group and we have cookie manager cache manager. This fragment config element. Here we have inside the config element we have cookie manager cache manager. So the purpose of this cookie manager is to simulate the cookies. Normally for any real-time application the cookies will be stored in the browser. During the first time when you launch the application the cookies will automatically get stored, and after which each time when you launch the application, so until and unless it is getting refreshed, it will automatically get renewed and reused. So that is the reason we also have to simulate as per the real time. That is the reason we are adding this cookie manager and cache manager. Cache is used for storing the cache information. Say like frequently accessed contents or frequently used contents will be very fast. That is the reason we are going for cache. HTTP cookie and HTTP cache manager, these are with respect to the HTTP calls. Normally all the requests here are in HTTP, right? Inside this, these are all HTTP calls.
Yeah.
So that is the reason we are adding this HTTP cookie and cache manager to simulate as per the browser to have the realistic response time, which will help us to analyze the realistic response time from the server. Okay. Are we clear now? Okay.
Yes, Madhu.
Okay.
Yes, Madhu.
Okay. So just a minute. So now just for debugging purpose we can give continue. Once the script is fully functional we can change it to start next thread group. This will, in case if there are any errors appearing here in any call, then automatically if continue is enabled then it will execute all the other transactions. Say like if login page itself is not working, without login page then how I will be able to select the flight or book the flight? Then obviously the entire transaction will fail. So for only for validation purpose this continue can be enabled. For during load testing you have to select the start next thread group. Okay, in case if any thread fails then obviously it will start from the first transaction again instead of executing all the other transactions. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so now what we have to do is cookie manager, cache manager, the CSV test data that we already have seen, right? This is what the CSV test data plugin is used for. Configuring the parameter, the test data, input test data, which is given by the users. So normally, whichever the test data which is given by the users will be used for in the CSV test data. Just the title alone. Here I have given the test data, right? Just one second. Where I have given the test data. Either you can give it in .txt format or .csv format. These are the two formats which is accepted by the Jmeter as the input for test data. So I am giving as .txt. Okay. So here you can see that data can be either .txt or .csv. Other data types are not accepted. If you try with .xls, it won't accept. If you try with some other format, it won't accept. Only txt and csv. Okay. Then followed by once after we run the load test, I will explain about this particular step, like how we can analyze the run. So now I'll just run a test in non-GUI mode. Normally in GUI mode means just we run the test, you can see the result. Already I have the file name sample test.jtl. What I will do is just delete that file and it will create automatically in the same path. Okay, So it will create a new file. Now I have deleted this sample test.jtl file. So you can see the same path: C users move to desktop Jmeter training, scripting working. So you can see that these paths: C users move to OneDrive, desktop Jmeter training, and scripting working. The file is deleted. So now when I run the file, I run the script, say like 3 user, 3 iteration or so. You can see the data getting refreshed here. Either it will automatically get refreshed, or you can just select here and hit enter, so that it gets automatically picked up. So this is for summary report, and aggregate report also looks in the difference between the summary and aggregate is average, samples, median, all those things will be common, but the 90th percentile, 95th, 99th percentile will be available only in aggregate. So normally for sharing the report with clients, normally we check only the aggregate report, where we can see the transaction-wise information. How we can segregate and all, I will tell you. Right. Okay, once this test gets executed, I will tell you how we can get this, how we can generate the report and all. When if you see any kind of issues like these are warnings, not errors. So you can see like so I'm stopping the test and restarting it once again. 1 second. I'll delete this, remove these things, and because it was showing me the warning, I have done some changes. What changes I have done is like clear cookies on each iteration and just enable clear cache on each iteration. I have unselected this use cache control expire setup. This is not required. So that is the reason I have disabled this second option. So now I am saving it and I am executing it. I have also deleted the sample test.jtl file. Okay, so now I'll run the test. I'm not sure why it is throwing this error for cookie handler. I'll stop the test once again. 1 second. Okay. mean, now the error should not appear because the cookie is completely disabled, right? I mean, this option is unchecked. So that is the reason. I'm not sure why this standard cookie is not being accepted, or we can go with best match or compatibility. But in realistic scenario, it should be normally enabled. But here for this sample application, I'm not sure if we enable also, it is not considering because of this HTTP call or something. It is throwing some error. I'll have to check on that. Yeah. Now you can see that you don't see any error. So what is this? C cookie and unable to manage cookie. I mean, I am not able to see any errors here, but these are just warnings. So we can ignore that. Here we can see whether you can see any errors. Because normally during the test run, if any call or any request fails, we can see that how many times the request or calls are getting failed. But this is normally a warning, so we can ignore it. So no issues. Test got over. So just to help you, like how we normally save this report is save table data. Then we inside the folder we just update it like any name, like we can give it as like booking ticket underscore aggregate.csv save. Okay, so now after saving it, we can see it here. So normally, when sharing with client, we have executed with 3 users, 3 iterations, so 9 samples, which means 9 calls. Each request will be sent 9 times by the Jmeter. So you can see the same. So here we will consider only the transactions. So launching the Blaze demo website, then followed by from and to city, then followed by selecting the best flight, then booking the flight. These 4 calls alone, we can take it like we can delete these other calls. So just only the transaction response time alone we can have it. We can delete this delete. Okay. So these are the 4 transactions, and for how many times it got executed, and after for which what is the response time. Normally these are all in milliseconds. So if you consider 5.4 seconds, 2.8 seconds, 11 seconds, 98%. That is the reason we consider 98th percentile or 95 or 99th percentile. We should give the highest response time, not the max. Max will be different. You can compare when you compare 90 with max, it will be different because 90th percentile will tell you the, I mean, 9th call response time, whereas this max will represent only the highest response time. So similarly for 95 and 99, it is same because highest response time is considered as 95 and 99% here in this particular scenario. But in real time, if you have many calls, then the max will be different with 95 percentile, 95th percentile, and 99 percentile. Min is the minimum response time. The call, the request which has taken the minimum response time. Error, if there are any errors during the execution. Throughput is nothing but which is normally the bytes of data which we receive from the server. Okay, hits per second should be proportionate to the throughput per second, and received bytes per second, sent bytes per second. So you can see that you received bytes per second, sent kilobytes. That is what from Jmeter to server what we send it, and from server to Jmeter what we receive it. Okay. Are we clear now, or hello to the team
Yes.
Jelen?
Yes, Muthu.
Okay. So this is how normally I'll share this Excel and all, but 1 second. This has to be saved, I think. Okay. So now what else we have to do is, I mean, there are different graphs as well. In order to analyze the graphs, how you do is like just copy this log, .jtl log, and then put it inside this. You will get the graphical format. See, three threads for 3 iteration we have executed, and for duration how long we have executed. Then just we can paste it. You can see the graphs: bytes sent, bytes received, and followed by server hits per second that we send from the Jmeter, and the codes like what are the requests like 200 and 302, and the calls, each call what is the time taken. Say like we don't want all the calls, we want only a transaction, then we can select these transactions around 1 second. So 4 transactions, each with the different colors are represented, then you can see how it is, how the response time of the transaction alone. So then followed by response time over time, we can see like what are the calls, like for transaction alone, you can enable and see the response time of the transaction. Then followed by transactions per second, you can see like you can enable these 4 transactions. So why I'm enabling only these 4 transactions is, this 4 transaction includes the response time of all these calls inside it. So that is the reason I'm enabling it. So this will give me the total of this all the calls. Normally, clients won't look for individual calls. There will be some clients who will be checking for individual time taken by the call, but in most of the cases, we only share the transaction response time, which will be the sum of all the API calls inside each transaction. Okay, so next is connect time over time. Okay, so you can see. So in order to save this graph, nothing but just right click it, save the save image as, it will be .png format. Which location you want to save it? Just give it as Jmeter training 15 followed by working, where you can create a folder, new folder with the name graphs, and put this with a name like you want, what is the name, active threads over time. So inside this graphs I can put it. So now you can see the graphs, inside the graphs folder you can see like the threads. So this is what I will share in the report. So same way for all the graphs we can do it. Okay. Bytes time per second. Quotes per second. response status is over time. Response times over time. Transactions per second. This one. Yeah. Normally, here when you move from graphs to rows, here you can't select or do a right click. When you have to select the chart and then have to right click here, save images, then you will have to save the image. Connect times over time. So now all the graphs have been saved. Inside the graphs, you can see 8 different graphs, right? So just right click, double click on it, and you will be able to see different graphs. Okay. So that's it, graphs part. So then after that, what we have here, analysis, load test. Okay, we have to do the load test, right, in non-GUI format. So I will tell you how we can do the test in non-GUI format. Okay, so here what we'll do is, during the load test, not all the listeners has to be enabled. So that is the reason we disable all this or remove it completely. So for our, sample test, I'll just disable it. So here pacing is given just for an example case it is given. So I will just run the test for here. I'll just give 5 uses just as forever, and then forever means here I will have to specify the duration. Then only it will execute for those many, those much of time. So 600 seconds is nothing but what you call is 10 minutes. So ramp up is going to be 25. 25 is one user 5 seconds to totally 5 users 25 seconds I have given. So just I'm saving it and I will just run the test. Okay. All the listener plugin has to be disabled because it will consume more memory. But in our case, it is a kind of a smoke test or what you call very simple test. But in real time, when you run it for 50, 100 users, only limited things or limited plugins has to be enabled. All the listeners which are not required can be disabled. These are all listeners. Like you can see summary report, aggregate report, all this are listeners. Even view results tree only for validation purpose we were using. Now I have disabled it. So now I'm running a test just to see. We have given the text check, sync time. Okay. Okay. So text check is given, correlation is done, parameterization is done, followed by we have validated the script, pacing sync time is given, transaction points. Normally transaction points, how we give is like this one. Normally we represent using script 01 and followed by the application name, or it could be anything like application name, then followed by transaction name, then underscore T01. That is what S01 will represent as script, S will represent as script, T will represent as transaction. So here what is called, we can give it as launch, then followed by launch place demo, then followed by T01. This is for transaction. Similarly, we can do for all the other transactions. Say like I'm giving for you can give the all the all the transactions can have the application name by default, then followed by you can give it as the transaction name. Here from and to is going to be the transaction name. To city is going to be my transaction name, then followed by T02. This is for our understanding, just to make it simple. S is for script name, then followed by script. This as we have only one script. This is S01, and the application is Blaze demo, followed by what is the transaction name. Then this is the second transaction. Okay. So now I have to give the third transaction. Selecting the best flight, I'll just give it as selecting the flight. Name is what we give it, right? Selecting flight, followed by it is T03 transaction. Okay, now the last transaction is confirmation. This demo confirmation, booking confirmation, right? So okay. Okay, this is done. So now we can do the execution. So the log is saved here. But before starting the test, already existing log, either you have to remove it or place it in somewhere location. Say like I'm having with the same name, I already have the log here. Either I can delete it, or if it is important, you can just put it in somewhere like if it is an older log, just put it in archive. Just put it inside this sample test JTL archive. That's it. Okay, so now we can run the test. How we run the test is normally using the command prompt cmd, where we give the we have to go to the Jmeter part, bin folder. So here I'll give it as cd b, then I'll give it as d. Okay. So what I'm doing is navigating to the D drive. Then I have to give Jmeter -n-t. So I'll explain you what is the purpose of this parameter. Then followed by the script name, which is slash booking ticket.jmx, right? Okay. -l, and we have to give the log where our test data has to be stored. So here I'll give the log in this same location. Say like booking ticket dot CSV. Log will always be stored in either CSV or JTL format. You can give it as in JTL format or CSV, either formats are fine. Now, just to make sure before you start the test, whether all the settings are given properly, you can check it, and then we can start the test. Okay. Okay. So now we'll run the test for 10 minutes. Here you can see that I have given 600 seconds. The test will run for the 600, seconds, which is 10 minutes with 5 users. Ramp up is 25. So now I'll just trigger the test. So here I've told what is the purpose. -n is for executing the test in non-GUI mode. T is for, I'll just a minute. I'll tell you. Okay, I'll explain you the purpose of this T or -n and -t. Give me some time. So now we are running the test just by giving this Jmeter -n-t followed by the part of the script with .jmx extension and -l for saving the log, during the load test. Now I have to hit the enter key, so the test will start. 1 second. Jmeter pin, Jmeter pin. Okay. Okay, it's in D drive. Okay. Hmm. Okay. 1 second. Cancel. Okay. Save. Close. Cancel. Okay. Camping ticket. Just a moment. 1 second. Okay. Wait, hyphen and hyphen T followed by scrub. Okay. Hyphen L followed by slash whatever booking ticket dot csv. I'll give it a filter. Let's see what happens. Okay. Now the test has started. Either you can give it as .csv extension or .jtl extension, that is for storing the log. You can see when the test has started, like Feb 10, 7, 17, 41, 45, that is IST time. And this is like a Unix timestamp. And waiting for possible shutdown means once after the test starts, it will give this message. But the test will execute for 10 minutes, and after that you can see that logs will be coming, like when what are the calls which are executed, and when test gets over, you can see here that the test is getting completed or something message will appear here. Okay. So far, are we good?
Yes, Muthu.
Yeah, Muthu.
Yeah, okay. So the test will execute for 10 minutes. See, when as you can see that threads, 5 threads have been started and 0 have completed. So it will execute for 10 minutes and then it will stop one by one. So this is how the test will be executed in non-GUI mode. So once after the test gets over, we can see how it gets over. Like after 10 minutes, you can see here.
Yeah, Muthu.
Just give me 2 minutes.
Sure.
So if there are any errors and all, you can see here, it will be appearing here. This is the max response time. Here you can see min response time, average response time for each call and all. So how many samples have been executed, like how many requests have been executed so far, you can see. So
Maybe if it takes more time, maybe we can jump into other topic and we can check out the results, Muthu, whichever is convenient for you.
yeah, I mean, other topics, just one second. Yeah. So if you see, like, I mean, we have covered this thing. I mean, first topic, script recording, capturing, parameterization, correlation. Important plugins, whatever is used here in the script is what, like, we have used. I mean, HTTP key manager, cache manager, test data. For test data, we are using CSV dataset.
Yeah.
Recording controller, then transaction controller. We have 4 transactions. These are all HTTP calls normally, Then what we have used is think time. Then followed by we have assertion, think time
Okay.
assertion. That is what response assertion we have used. Apart from this, we have used correlation parameterization. We have done it here. So these parameter name is regular expression extractor. So and we what else we have is parameterization. Parameterization is normally 1 second, where is it, like these are like correlated value. Parameterization is given here, right? Yeah, here. So whatever we are passing here in the data set, like whatever we are giving here, name, address, city, state, all these are parameters. Users
Yeah.
given input are being passed as a parameter. So you can see here, like all these are parameters. Okay,
Yes.
so then a recording controller, transaction controller we have seen. Text assertion, that is for text check. Think time pacing we have seen. View lizard and tree, yes we have seen. Simple data writer is for storing the logs, which we have seen in GUI and non-GUI mode. It is executing. Once after the execution, I will show you. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is done. Now you can see the tidying up of whatever it is. When the test has started and when the test has executed. So end of the run, that test is completed. So we have executed in GUI mode as well as non-GUI. Folder structure I have told you, right? Then
Yes.
cookie manager, cache manager, which we have seen. CSV data set, test data, that is for configuring the test data, mean input of the user, which is given in the script. Analysis of the road test is JTL CSV. Yeah. Now I will show you this one. What else is there? Like, we have executed the test, and what is the name of the log which is being saved is what is that name of the log? CSV. This is a log, booking ticket .csv. So booking ticket .csv, right? So this is the booking ticket .csv. You can see. So when it got saved is 551. You can see that when the test got completed is 551. So the same time the
Okay.
log will be written, and you can see that because once after the complete test gets over, only the log will be written. Till the test gets over, the log will not be written. It will be stored in somewhere in cache memory. Once after the test gets over, only it will be completely written into the file. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the previous report. Now I'll launch this one, bookingticket.com. Okay, so this is how the load test will look like. I mean, this is how it will look. I mean, the calls which got executed and all. So JTL and things. From here, I'll just segregate the details of the transactions. Like, say, like I'll just copy it and put it in a different sheet. Then I will do the analysis, like Control Shift L. Then this will be enabled. Here I'll check for the transactions. One second. Here I can see for URL and all. Okay. Okay, label. So these are the 4 transactions which we were. I mean, rest all you can just uncheck it. Uncheck it. These 4 transactions you can enable it. You can see like, I mean, how many times it has executed and how what is the things like response message, time taken, all those information you can see. From here, I'll just take the like that time consuming components, like, I mean, what is the maximum time for this S01? Say like if I want to see if there are any errors, because in our test there were no errors, but say like if I want to see the what do you call it? Okay. So here I can see like this transaction T04, like place demo booking confirmation, how much time it has taken. Say like I want to see the maximum time, just I'll select this and I'll data, I'll just filter it out, small to largest to smallest. Then it will just show me like what is the maximum time which is taken, which is 2.04 seconds. Similarly, I will check for other transactions as well. Then I will just update in the Excel report. Okay. Errors, all those information. So these are the things which I will just walk you through the reporting on one day, say like on Monday or so, because tomorrow I'm on leave. So I'll tell you how the reports are prepared in a detailed manner separately, because that itself will take 2 hours or some time. So based upon this data which we have collected, I'll help you on next week Monday, because I will be in office. I will share the exact reporting structure which I follow. Okay.
Sure,
So
Muthu.
far we have covered all the topics. Reporting alone, I will explain to you when I come to office on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. So if anyone has any queries, we can connect on Monday and discuss.
Fine. And we can also see the penetration testing.
Yeah, penetration testing. I will first complete this reporting part. Then after Tuesday, Wednesday, I will try to start on that, because Tuesday, Wednesday, I think I will be busy with freedom things. And post to that, I'll schedule a meeting separately with same members, or if anyone else is also interested, I'll include them and I will teach the pen testing part also.
Sure, Muthu. Yeah.
Okay, so because pen testing alone is a different area, because with
Yes.
performance testing that has a vast number of topics, and
Yes.
it cannot be covered in a single day. So I'll teach you. I'll explain each and every topic separately, and I'll tell you how it works and all.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah,
far
Muthu.
we are good, right? Okay.
Yes, Muthu.
Yeah. So have a nice time. Have a good evening. Bye. Yeah.
Sure, you too, Muthu. Thanks for your time.
Thanks,
Bye.
Muthu.
Bye.
Thanks, Muthu.
Yeah. Bye.
Thanks, Muthu. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.